Welcome back to This Week in Louisiana Politics. It's been a while since we've updated you on the governor's race. That election is taking place in November. Still several months away, but it will be here before you know it. So we want to bring in John Couvillon with JMC Analytics and Polling. He's our frequent pollster and talks about all things polling. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on today, Fred.
So at last check, we knew that according to polls, and I think even your poll, Attorney General Jeff Landry, the Republican in the governor's race, was the clear front runner. You think that's still the case?
I believe it is, and basically what's happening in the governor's race is slowly but surely things are starting to happen. And my definition of happen, of course, is people spending money on TV. In fact, there are 3 people right now who are up on TV, and with ads have been seen in the Baton Rouge and other media markets. That would be, of course, Attorney General Landry, the former head of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, Stephen Wagaspack, and our state treasurer, John Schroeder. All 3 of them are up on TV. So now the question then becomes, to what extent are these appearances on TV moving the numbers? Because with 4 months away to early vote, this is the time that you really need to start making yourself known to the voters. One of the things I've also seen with regards to the overall trajectory of the governor's race is that I would still expect Shawn Wilson to run first as the lone Democratic candidate in the race, although there's been rumors of a possible shakeup there. And then the other half of the front runner is Jeff Landry, who, from data I have seen in various parts of the state, I see that he's continuing to solidify support in the more rural parishes. The question mark for Jeff Landry, though, in terms of his ultimate finish in October is, to what extent can he get support in the more populous areas, such as here in East Baton Rouge Parish and in other large parishes like St. Tammany and Jefferson, Tangipahoa, Ascension, and Livingston?
Yeah, speaking of Republicans, we've had Congressman Steve Scalise. He's not even in the race, but he's come out and sort of criticized one of the Republican candidates, Wagaspack, telling him to, well, he had a PAC sort of go after Landry about crimes. I guess supposedly, I didn't see the ad, but supposedly being soft on crime. Scalise said that was violating Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, and I guess that is Republicans going after other Republicans in a race. Is that going to be a problem?
I'll say it's going to be something that is an issue, and my take on what is happening there is, given that the Republican Party, in terms of the governor's race, saw a significant amount of fratricide in the 2015 and 2019 elections, I think this time they're trying to go in the other direction, which is minimize any internal dissent. And the selection of Jeff Landry by the Louisiana Republican Party, in my opinion, is a step in that direction. And it looks like with what Steve Scalise has done, that is another step in that direction, which is not encouraging candidates to attack each other. Although some of that, though, you have to have healthy debate. But that is the overall theme that I'm seeing, is Republicans determined to avoid a repeat of the 2015 and 29 races when, hard feelings cost them the runoffs both times.
Yeah, they believe that's what happened with Vitter, when Vitter ran against Edwards.
Correct, and with Rasponi and Ralph Abraham in 2019, when both of them had enough negative broadsides going on against each other to where the belief is it hobbled them against Governor Edwards in the 2019 runoff.
I can certainly speak to that. I knew they were highly critical of each other, and so a lot of people thought it did, a lot of damage. Speaking of, so actually you touched on it a little bit earlier, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. A little bit of a shakeup with the Democrats, possibly. We have one Democrat in the race so far. Could we see another one enter the race?
So that's the rumor right now. So what we have right now is the one Democrat who, by the way, has received the endorsement of our Democratic governor. It's Shawn Wilson, who's the former Secretary of the Department of Transportation and Development. Thus far, he has had the Democratic field to himself, and it certainly doesn't hurt that he has had Governor Edwards' blessing. The rumor that has come out in recent days is that a more progressive challenger, his name is Jason Williams, who's the district attorney down in New Orleans, may possibly enter the race. Now, the reason that would be significant is given that you have a substantial part of the Democratic base from the New Orleans area, someone like Jason Williams jumping in could conceivably split the Democratic vote in two, like it did in the 2020 and 2022 Senate races. Only this time, when you're talking about an open race, splitting the Democratic vote in two raises the very real possibility of a two Republican runoff.
Now, it's not the governor's race, but there is a shakeup going on with the race to become the next attorney general.
Correct. In the Attorney General's race, and this literally came out earlier this morning, thus far we've had a race between three Republicans. You have State Representative John Stefanski. You have Liz Muriel, who is the right-hand person to Attorney General Jeff Landry, and by the way, has his endorsement. And then you have an attorney named Marty Maley. In addition to those three candidates, there was an independent named John Belton, who was the district attorney for Lincoln and Union parishes. And he, the one non-Republican in the race, has dropped out. So as it currently stands, you have an all-Republican race in the Attorney General, although I would expect some Democrats going to jump in between now and qualifying.
Right. Okay. That's all the time we have, John. Election Day will be November 18th. I know you'll be following it every single day, as will we. Thanks for coming on.
Always my pleasure.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.